Severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus, also known as SARS-CoV, outbreak occurred in 2002. After that, Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus, known as MERS-CoV, outbreak occurred in 2012. And finally, December 2019, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, that is known as SARS-CoV-2 outbreak, occurred in Wuhan, China, and it's become a global pandemic causing severe illness to human beings. It is now being confirmed that angiotensin converting enzyme 2, also known as ACE2 receptor, is the responsible factor for the entry of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in host cells. ACE2 receptor predominantly occurred in bronchial epithelial cells, pneumocytes, upper respiratory tract cells, liver cells, kidney cells, heart cells, as well as intestinal cells. Those ACE2 receptors plays a major role or crucial role for the entry of SARS-CoV-2 virus in our cell. Hello friends, welcome to Biology Concern. I am Animesh, and in this video I am going to discuss about the entry and the life cycle of SARS-CoV-2 virus in our system or host cell. Along with, I also discuss about the genomic composition of SARS-CoV-2, so it will enlarge our knowledge in the field of virology. But at first, please give a like, don't forget to share and subscribe. So let's jump into the topic. Firstly, sir, if we observe the structure of SARS-CoV-2 virus, we observed several structures known as spike proteins, nucleocapsids, that is the nucleocapsid, envelope and membrane protein. Spike protein or spike glycoprotein specifically made of two components or two subunits. One is S1 and another one is S2. So S1 and S2, both of the subunits are making the spike glycoprotein. And nucleocapsid, those nucleocapsid are made up of RNA and along with proteins. And envelope protein also has membrane protein. So all of these structures are basically make up the whole thing or whole SARS-CoV-2 virus. I already told you that ACE2 receptor, that is angiotensin converting enzyme 2, this receptor plays a crucial role for entry of the SARS-CoV-2 virus inside our cell. So whenever a SARS-CoV-2 enters into our body, first attach with the ACE2 receptor by the help of S1 domain. So this is the enlarged image how ACE2 receptor and S1 and S2 will contribute to the entry of the virus. So first S1, this S1 subunit known as RBD domains. So these are RBD, that means receptor binding domains. So receptor binding domains. Okay, so first this S1 or receptor binding domains binds with ACE2 receptor in host cell, and the binding of S1 subunit of the spike protein along with the ACE2 receptor activates several proteases like 3C-like protease and papain like protease. Okay, so these two proteases are activated and these proteases cleaved another serine protease present in our cell, that is the host cell, known as TMPRSS2. So this TMPRSS2 actually is a serine protease. So it is actually a serine protease and present along with ACE2 receptor in our cell. So whenever S1 subunit bind with the ACE2 cell, ACE2 receptor in our host cell, and then these serine proteases TMPRSS2 gets activated or cleaved by 3C like protease and papain like proteases, and ultimately it binds with the ACE2 subunit, so TMPRSS2. So this is the TMPRSS2, and this TMPRSS2 binds with the ACE2 subunit of the spike protein of the virus. Now this complex facilitates the entry of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in our cell by two different methods. One is direct attachment, so virus get directly attached with the cell and inject its material, and another one is receptor mediated endocytosis. So another one is receptor mediated endocytosis. So after entering into the host cell, it actually releases its nucleoprotein, okay, that is the RNA. It releases its RNA. Before we complete the whole life cycle, we have to know about the genomic composition of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. So if we observe the total mRNA from 5' UTR untranslated region to 3' untranslated region, it's actually 30 kb in length. So 30 kilobase per length is here, kilobase, and it consists of two main factors or two main portions. One is known as ORFs and another one is structural proteins and accessory proteins. So ORF stands for open reading frame. So here ORF 1A and ORF 1B present, and these ORFs actually produces non-structural proteins or polyproteins. There are actually 16 non-structural proteins are synthesized from these ORF1A and ORF1B, and after that these are the structural proteins that is present in the 3' UTR of the 3' region of the particular virus genome. Okay, so what is the function of those non-structural proteins? So let me give you the quick overview of that non-structural protein functions. So NSP1 and NSP3, non-structural protein 1 and non-structural protein 3, it actually works as degrade the host mRNA and inhibit the IFN interferon signaling. So basically whenever the virus enters our cell, these non-structural proteins 1 and non-structural proteins 3 gets activated, and it actually degrades our mRNA, our cell's mRNA, and it actually inhibit the interferon signaling, by which it actually evade our immune system. Next, NSP3 and NSP5, they are works as cleaves viral polyprotein. So in the ORFs, open reading frames, there are 16 viral polyproteins present, that is non-structural proteins. So basically NSP3 and NSP5 works as cleaving those polyproteins from the open reading frames. Okay, and in NSP4 and NSP6 works as a DMB formation. NSP7 and NSP8 works as forms hexadecameric complex, processivity clamp for RDRA, that is RNA dependent RNA polymerases, and primase complex. So whenever the virus enters into our cell, NSP7 and NSP8 gets activated, and it actually makes a primase for synthesizing a negative strand from the positive strand of this genome, and it actually also activates or works as a processivity clamp for RNA dependent RNA polymerases. So NSP9 actually works as RNA binding domain. So NSP9 actually works as RNA binding domain, and NSP12 works as RNA dependent RNA polymerase and viral replication and transcription. So these NSP12 and NSP9 is very much important for the particular virus, because whenever this virus gets into our cell, these NSP9 and NSP12 facilitates the binding of the positive strand and making a negative strand from a positive strand. And ultimately NSP13 produces a RNA helicase, and NSP14 acts as RNA proofreading, NSP15 acts as endoribonuclease. So this is the whole summary of genomic composition of the SARS-CoV-2 genome. Okay, now back into the life cycle of the SARS-CoV-2. Whenever this nucleocapsid is injected into our system, into our cell, these polyproteins get activated. I mentioned in here, polyproteins are NSP or non-structural proteins are activated, and they make several proteins or several non-structural proteins. Whenever these non-structural proteins get activated, because the genome of the SARS-CoV-2 is a positive strand, plus strand, and it actually make up a negative strand from the positive strand. So 5 prime to 3 prime is the main genome of the virus, and it is basically a positive strand. And whenever RNA dependent RNA polymerases get attached with this positive strand, so whenever RNA dependent RNA polymerases get attached with this particular positive strand, it actually creates a 3 prime to 5 prime negative strand, along with several other mRNAs like envelope protein, envelope mRNA, spike mRNA, membrane mRNA, nucleocapsid mRNA, and accessory mRNA. So from this negative strand, we have got several mRNAs, that is accessory protein mRNAs, nucleocapsid mRNAs, membrane mRNAs, envelope mRNAs, and spike protein mRNAs, along with main genome. This is our main genome. So main positive strand, we have got positive strand here. So after that, these mRNAs, so accessory proteins and these mRNAs transported into the ER, endoplasmic reticulum, and formed the particular structural proteins, that is membrane protein, envelope protein, and spike protein. And after that, this structure spike protein, envelope protein, and membrane protein transported from ER to Golgi, and it gets activated. And when it gets activated in the Golgi, then Golgi produces a vesicle, and inside of this particular vesicle, this main genome along with the spike protein, membrane protein, envelope protein gets assembled here within a budding vesicle, and ultimately produces a new SARS-CoV-2 virus inside our cell, and ultimately it will fuse with our plasma membrane, and from exocytosis process, this SARS-CoV-2 gets out from a particular cell, that is bronchial epithelial cell or pneumocytes or etc. So this is the complete life cycle of SARS-CoV-2 and the genomic composition of SARS-CoV-2. Hope you like that video and it will help you understand to the topic better. If you like that video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.